Folks, how you're doing? Uh, Due to the ongoing in West Africa and in Africa in general, and and across our Pan-African world, we've come under a new name now, Borderless Africa. So we'll be reporting under Borderless Africa because we want to go beyond the borders wherever the news is so we can analyze it and put it in a plain language where all of us can understand and grasp. Because we these things need to be explained in a in a in a plain man's language where we take it from the analysts and analyze them, and break the codes that they work under for their broadcasting houses and their paymasters. So uh, the ongoing war or the rumors of war on Niger is real. And we're going to look at the ethnicities that are going to play into this. Uh, Already there are a lot of people breaking camp, or there are a lot of opposition mounting to this preemptive war against Niger, where Nigeria is being pushed into doing something that it had never done before. Nigeria is being pushed harshly, especially with the new president, which is who lack who lacks a lot of credibility. So the Europeans have and Americans are pushing him, to do what Nigeria have never done before. America have never invaded its neighbors, and America, a war-mongering nation like America, the U.S., has never waged a war in North America or its closer or neighboring nation, not in Canada and not in Mexico. It never happened before. So why Nigeria being pushed to go and fight a war across the border? This is declaration of war. This is not a peace mission. This is not in some intervention. Because once this coup has established, coup heads have to prevail. I would like us to listen to one professor who is being asked about the situation. They asked him about Liberia and Sierra Leone, when Nigeria went in and did some marvelous job. But as I reported earlier, before Nigeria went over there together with Ghana, the nations that they went, Sierra Leone and Liberia, were, battle fatigue, and the society were, in fact, looking for a savior to save them from the brutalities that are occurring at the time. So they were welcomed into loving arms of the Liberian people and the Sierra Leonean people. And the people that they were going after to fight, who were causing mayhem in both Sierra Leone and Liberia, were actually battle fatigue, highly immoral, highly immoral, and majority are child soldiers. So for Nigeria and Ghana coming as a savior, even the children who were fighting found it, very heartwarming, because they've been pushed to fight this war, which they have no other choice, because nobody is there to save the children than the warlords who enlisted them into a battle and give them a lot of drugs just to keep them going. So when ECOMOG stepped in, it was just welcoming. The child soldiers welcomed it. The society, which had been brutalized for many years before ECOMOG had the courage to muster enough courage to go in and save the situation, just you can't downplay it. But this is a different animal. This is a different animal. We are fighting a war. Nigeria is being pushed into a battle that is not prepared. A new president who is fighting for his own legitimacy is being pushed into a battle without even informing the Nigerian people adequately. Why are they going to this war? This is not some coup being in progress. The coup has succeeded over a week now. So going in the society of the Niger society have embraced the coup leaders. So this is not Liberia. You are going into a place where the society, the people who have, the majority of the people who supported this coup will be against you. Airstrikes are good, but what if the airstrikes fail and you have to put boots on the ground? The ethnicity factor. You see, in Africa, we don't see nation states. We see territory. Nation state is in the favor of Europeans and Americans, the colonialists. They see nation state. But nation states do not really work. Africa works in a territorial setting. That means the Fulanis that are in Niger, the Hausa that are in Niger, are also spread over into northern part of Nigeria and in Burkina. There are Hausas in Ghana, mainly from Niger. So if Ghana is going to be part of this war, they are Nigerians in Ghana. They are Hausa people in the northern part of our nations. A lot of our northern brothers marry into, because of Islam religion, most of these people marry into each other. So in our northern part of nation, where Islam is prevalent as the major foreign religion, Hausas and our northern indigenous people find common ground to marry into each other. So this war is going to be fought on ethnicity and religious fault lines. Buhari, the former president of Nigeria, his father, parents, grandparents came from Niger. It was even in the news just 2 weeks ago that he was contemplating that if things do not go very well, if there's no peace in Nigeria, he will go and reside and retire in Niger before this military coup happened. He was planning, and it was all in the news, that why this man want to go and leave Nigeria and go and live in Niger? Because they're the same people. That's what I said earlier. Our people do not believe in these nation states. They believe in territorial. Across all our border, along all the borders in Africa, the people are on both sides. So it's a territorial rather than nation state. You cannot box people in a nation state. They spread over. And the reason why the nation state is working in favor of European is they intentionally, deliberately, cut across ethnic territories so that they could divide, empower, water down, the ethnicities of Africa. Because when the people are one, they can fight better, they can understand each other, they speak one language better, But what happened is you have Hausas and Fulanis in Niger speaking some French, and you have Hausas and Fulanis in Nigeria speaking English. That's what the colonizer, wished to have as a result, so that the people could not, in the long run, they could not understand each other. But Africa being so a very old settlement, our languages still persist. This is not Africa, as Museveni said, this is not South America, where the indigenous language is being slaughtered and buried. The African language survived colonialism, and the neo-colonialists are coming strongly to the second time around to kill the indigenous language. But as long as the indigenous language is still persists, and education could not, which we think supposed to be in English, did not spread widely, which favor us. The education did not spread, favorably, widely. So education comes with a colonial language. So in a whole lot of 90% of Africa don't have a good educational system with a colonial language. So that's the reason why we could say we are very lucky, very fortunate not to have this education, this poisonous education spread as they wish it to spread, because it comes with colonial language, and the intention is to kill indigenous mother tongue, but it did not happen. So for that reason, territorial language territories where certain languages are spoken still exist despite the borderlines. Despite the borderlines, African language is still thriving. You see, so the territory is still existing within the nation state, which favors Europeans. The territory favored Africans. Nation state favored Europeans, because that's how they do their divide and conquer. And it's been working for them. So for Tinubu to be pressed, you see, sometimes our elites think like Europeans. They think, they rush to do things without thinking it through, because to them everything is about money. You see, and damn the consequence. You see, and damn the consequence. So we're gonna see a lot of blowback on territorial differences. This war is gonna create a situation where Bola Tinubu is a Yoruba man going to a war to be killing Hausas and Fulanis in Niger. Hausas and Fulanis are already in the military in Nigeria. You see, it's like American coming to Africa and slaughtering black people. Meanwhile, they have generals in each army that are black. We have Africans that are in the army that are black. We have black people that are in a senior position in the military that are black. And the reason why America could not see itself fighting a war in apartheid, and they have to, resolve it quickly and bring Mandela out to be the new black leader, is this. America did not see itself fighting a war in apartheid South Africa. We were ready to drown these people into the sea. Nigeria was ready under Murtala Muhammad, and then later on Abacha and Idi Agbon. Ethiopia was ready with 1 million standing army. 1 million standing army. Mengistu was ready. Uganda was ready. Tanzania was ready. The frontline states were ready. Battle lines were drawn, and we were ready to push South Africa white into the sea. The Dutch in Netherlands built over 200,000 houses for emergency evacuation. They were ready in Europe to welcome them. Later on, those houses in Netherlands, the area is called I forgot the name. Were later on released to immigrants, because they have to do something. we were ready to slaughter. We were ready to push them into the sea. And Europeans were ready, building settlements to welcome them back home. But it did not happen because America could not fight that war. If America even fight that war, they will still lose. And they don't know how they could send black people into that war, to go and save apartheid South Africa. You see, so the same thing Tinubu is doing. Tinubu is going to have an army full of Hausas and Fulanis into their homeland. Yeah, it's their homeland. I told you we don't respect the nation state. We respect territory based on the language that we speak. There's no Nigeria, there's no Ghana, there's no Togo, there's no Cote d'Ivoire. All these countries have territory of people who speak certain languages that spread across. You see, that spread across the nation states. The nation states in the favor of Europeans due to the way they engineer it, to water down the territorial languages and camaraderie between the same people. So one language group speaking French colonial language, another one speaking Portuguese or whatever it is that they fall that draw line between them. This thing is not gonna work. But Europeans who believe in money, profit, are pushing Tinubu, who have never, who is less than 3 months into presidency. He have never been a president before, and this is his first time. Nigeria have never really gone to war before. Nigeria always gone in for peace.
But we should be happy because the Liberians and the Sierra Leoneans continue to thank Nigeria for saving their lives, and good neighborliness helped in all that. But to the best of my knowledge, even though we got the understanding of the United Nations for carrying out that experience, we did not get reimbursed for that money because it was not the money spent, because it was not a UN operation. But here in the case of Niger, a coup has taken place. We will be in denial if we are saying that there isn't, it's just some mutiny or whatever, a process that is still ongoing. It is very clear that if you have a coup that lasts 24 to 48 hours, then you accept that it's a coup that has succeeded. It's no longer an attempt. And the Nigerians have since been consolidating. As you pointed out, they're building up relationships with a number of countries, starting with the ones that are also under ECOWAS sanction in that respect, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso. And beyond that, the other contiguous countries like Algeria that are feeling concerned that if ECOWAS should turn itself into an intervention force over Niger, automatically it's going to spill over to them, and they are beginning to say that they're going to see it also as an attack on them. So many things are happening. Whether we can still use that last resort we are talking about is a different thing entirely.
You see, Algeria is also falling in line. Guinea, Burkina Faso, Mali, and then the Niger itself. 4 nations will be facing Nigeria. Okay, and Nigeria bordered to Mali also. Okay, Nigeria bordered Mali. You see, two nations, territories, language territories, spill over in all these places. The colonialists just draw a line. They're careless about territory. You see, and we Africans supposed to take territories very seriously because we have both people, whether the colonial language is English or French or Portuguese, we are the same people spread into sometimes three nations. You don't care. But as I said, the educational system did not go further enough, so we still have our mother tongue. Okay, that is a blessing. Okay, that's a blessing. We didn't lose it like South Americans. So we see our brothers, we communicate with our brothers across the border, whether they have a French colonial criminals or English colonial criminals. You see, so we see ourselves as one people. Now you want to put me in a uniform to go and kill my people. Tinubu have to be very, very careful, or this thing can blow back and disintegrate Nigeria. If Ghana want to go, it can blow back and disintegrate Ghana because the Burkinabes are right there. The Moshis, they have Moshis in the northern part and they have Moshis in Burkina Faso. Which one you going to fight? You're going to put a uniform on a Moshi man to go and fight Burkina people because Burkina people say this is a declaration of war. So if Burkina people send a contingent of people into a battlefield to go and save Guinea, they're going to remain also at the border. Because the white man will push Ghana to attack Burkina. The French people will push Ghana. They will give money. They will do everything, anything. Because if Burkina people stand up and say this is our war too, then Ghana have to face them at the northern border. That means Nigeria have to face them, Mali, at the northern border. You see? And also face the Nigerian at the northern border. And at the northern border, they're the same people. We should be very careful what Europeans pushing us to do. What these Americans, they are looking at their interest. Somebody's country, you say, I have an interest in it. Whether they like it or not, I have an interest in your country. What is the interest? You steal uranium. That is the reason why you are right there mining. And say it's because of Boko Haram. That's why you are there to save the day from Boko Haram. Meanwhile, you were there. You all came together to mine uranium and other rare minerals, gold, diamond, oil, whatever it is. That is what you're doing because you see that we do not have capacity to border, to guard the desert. It's a vast, 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 vast area. From Tripoli into the heart of Niger desert is about 2,000 miles. It's going to get into about 3,000 miles. So they know that we do not have the capacity. We do not have the satellites and other things to guard our vast desert, which has enormous minerals underneath the desert. So they cook a Boko Haram, ISIS, that they are over there, and they will go and few people, pay some few radicals, some thugs to go and scatter a isolated village, some far off village, and then they say, you see, that is Boko Haram, that is ISIS. We coming to help you. You lack the capacity. And this so-called president accepted it, and Italy is there. Spain is there. Germany is there. Canada is there. What the fuck Canada is doing in Nigeria, all the way from northern part of America? What are you doing over there? At least we know America has bases over there for drones, but what is Canada doing over there? What is your concern, Canada? You see, Germany, I thought the Germans have a law that they don't have to intervene in anything militarily. But they're there. Swedish are there. Danish people are there. And still Boko Haram, imaginary, a ghost called Boko Haram, is still there, ravaging villages and raping women and children. And because of that, 10 nations from white nations are there. What are you doing over there? Mining. Dr. Arikana told us that, Boeing 747 landing in the desert, landing in the Congo forest, picking up minerals and just boom, flying off. We know about all these things. The reason is we lack the capacity, we lack the satellite, we lack everything so that we can see everywhere. Do you think some nation can come to Nevada desert and be mining and America don't know about it? But this is what they are doing to us. Why can't you mine your own desert? You got so much over here in America. What is this? What is this that everybody can come and gang up and be stealing us in the name of coming to save us from who? A ghost called Boko Haram. You see? So now the Algerian story. The Algerians fought the French bitterly for their independence. To me, if they are coming to help Niger, I know they would sincerely, they would like to, because the French being there, if they have a foothold, forever foothold in Africa, Niger border to Mali borders to Algeria. You see, so Algerians never forget about the bitter war that they fought with the French before they dislodged them. They never want to leave. So we are glad that Algeria is standing up to support this thing to dislodge France from the desert, because she is the one inviting all these criminal nations, pirated nations into the desert so that they could mine. And it's the one, being the Boko Haram. Nobody is Boko Haram than France. These are all French citizens, whether they're from Algeria or from Morocco or from Syria, or wherever it is, that, with even some Africans who are in the French army. They are the one causing the havoc. Say they are the Boko Haram. France is the Boko Haram, and France is the one fighting Boko Haram. You can see that bullshit? Man. Folks, let's our eye open. These are the truth. These are the facts. Share this, press the notification buttons and like it and share it so that everybody can, listen to my part of the analysis, because it is what it is. A lot of people cannot explain it because they have so many handlers that will not allow them to explain it the way we are explaining it. So welcome to Borderless Africa.